I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Maureen Berkner Boyt. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am fabulous. How about you, Angel?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking. Please, Maureen, do tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado. I've got the mountains to the west and the plains to the east.
I love that. Ooh, I love that. Well, tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
You know, Angel, I've got to say it's probably that I help people rock their moxie. I think everybody's got a spark, and I just help add some oxygen and fan that flame.
Bloom. I like that. I like that. Yeah, tell us more about the Moxie and where you got that from and where you're going with that. I mean, I was looking at it, reading your bio, and I said, okay, how do I pronounce this? I love it. Moxie.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
People love that word because it really is about having the courage and spunk and really going for it. And that's, you know, we originally started Angel focused on women, and that is still a huge focus for us. It's really unleashing the potential of women so that they can step up into leadership, because we have so many pressing problems and issues to be solved, and we really need diverse thinking at the table to do that. And women really have been underrepresented in all roles in leadership. And then we said, you know, it's really interesting. That's great. We have all these tools and resources, and the women in our programs are telling us that they're raising their hand and they're really excited, and then they're running into brick walls because they are leaning into a broken system, and they can lean in until they fall over. But if that system doesn't change, they really can't live to their full potential. And so we started working with organizations to say, hey, let's understand how our brain is really biased, and it's just the way that organ functions, and we all have unconscious bias. And how do you interrupt that so we can create inclusive teams and workplaces where everybody can thrive? So we say we're really hitting the issue from both sides. So equipping women to rock their moxie and equipping organizations and leaders to really be inclusive so all people can do that.
Tell us where we can go to get more information on what you do, please.
Yeah, the best place is probably just our website, Moxie Exchange, MOXIE, and then the word exchange. And then I'm pretty active out on LinkedIn as well. So if people want to track me down there, and it's just Maureen Berkner Boyt if you do a search.
Yeah, I will definitely have links there as well on the show notes. You know, it's intriguing. When I was reading, you said that you went into a meeting and you left and you felt, okay, enough of that, right? Of course, you were the only woman and in that meeting. I'm intrigued. Who did you learn the skill of first getting into the system? And then I don't want to use the word hack, but probably not hack, but most definitely understanding how do I say it? Repairing the system. Yeah, I'll use repairing the system for better.
Yeah, and we actually say interrupting the system too.
Yeah.
I always say the biggest thing that we can do is just put a pause in between our initial response and what we're thinking and then what we do. But I really got into this. I'm just so curious by nature. And, you know, when I think about where I learned this from, and I think this is such a great question, for me, and how it has taken a village. I've had mentors, reading, graduate school, you name it. So I can't pinpoint one person or organization, but really a village of people that have helped me get to where I am.
Most definitely, it is not easy doing what you're doing. I would like to know, why will you, in spite of that, continue to repeat this skill, Maureen?
Well, I alluded to it a bit, and that's we really do have some big issues to solve. Everything from how do we make sure that everybody in this big, beautiful world has access to clean water, or that we can create peace where in regions where there is typically been anger and hate, or education. And as hard as things may be, I always go back and say there's a ripple effect when we get smart, diverse, inclusive teams working on these big issues. They can be solved, but we're not going to solve them with the same thinking or people that got them into it. So we really need to kind of disrupt that, and we need to disrupt that by building inclusion.
I love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Well, it's been even longer. I think it's probably been at least 5. And that is when I first wake up in the morning, Angel, the very first thing I think and saturate myself with is I'm so grateful for this strong and healthy body, and I'm so grateful for this strong and healthy mind, because with those two things, I can accomplish anything.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's really interesting because it makes me feel both grounded and powerful and peaceful and energized. And really, then I'm really ready to literally sometimes leap out of bed and start the day.
Here she comes. It's Maureen.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Why would you suggest someone out there that may be struggling with that, with getting up or rising on mornings or even facing their day? Why would you suggest they do something like this?
I think it's as simple as that. So before there's a horrible statistic in and this is my view of it, that something like 90 to 95% of people roll over in the morning and check their email. So they pick up their phone and they either, they're looking at a Twitter feed, or they're checking their email, and so they start their day with noise. And it's so easy to just pause and be grateful. And to be grateful for the simple fundamental things that give us so much fuel to do what we want to do in the world.
Love it. Amazing audience. We are live here with Maureen Berkner Boyt. Do check her out, right? MoxieExchange.com. Maureen, let's change gears for a moment and let me invite you into my time machine. And celebrate the beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Maureen, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I'm the youngest of 4 kids in 6 years, and my earliest memory is I was sitting in the middle of a picnic table out in the woods in a campground, and all my siblings were putting my hair in little tiny pigtails.
Ooh, that's fascinating. So, did you say how old you were? You said you were the youngest, right?
I think I was 3, maybe edging toward 4.
So, why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it was this just feeling of just pure joy and being loved, and being in nature, and just happiness, and that the visceral memory of that joy.
Yeah, I love it. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Oh, please do.
The board of directors, that big table, right? Even in corporate, right? You're there, and the inclusion that you are a part of, and even the collaboration that you've created, and you are the individual responsible for that, at the center of it, if you would. And that is pretty fascinating. Wow.
That's beautiful, and I just got goosebumps as you were saying that. That was so incredible, Angel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What a
You're
gift.
welcome. Amazing. If you fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
What I find fascinating about this, there were actually 2, and I think it's interesting that they were my 2. So one was "Hit Me With Your Best Shot" by Pat Benatar. I think I was starting to, feel that kind of rebellious nature, and also starting to, I think, sense that some things were going to be more difficult. And then the second was Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Wow.
Right? So it's kind of this dichotomous, right? Like, hit me with your best shot, but I'm never going to, right? I don't stop believing in all the good in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll add to the Journey, right? Like, even though it's the name of the band, just, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, right?
Yeah,
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm I'm an absolute tenacious optimist. So I think that's it's a good fit.
It's good. Well, Maureen, we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, or probably a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Maureen, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, as many people as possible. I'm teaching people to fish.
Are you married?
Yes, I am, happily.
Do you have children?
2.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in universal love.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No, I don't even own a television.
Wow. What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
It's probably more, and it's all work related.
All right. After 1001 conversations, I came up with a workbook called Yours, and it stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us, Maureen, your own unique real statement, your mission, something that represents you, what would that be?
Rock Your Moxie.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Maureen, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience? Just
that you all are incredible, and I hope that you're all absolutely going for it and rocking your moxie in this world.
Maureen Berkner Boyt, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Angel, thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure. And keep doing this wonderful, wonderful podcast.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.